Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be making another empire for another country, and that country today is Nigeria. So once again, I'm getting comments about what countries you want. Just let me know. Might take a little while, but I'm trying to get to as many of them as I can. So hope you enjoy, and let's get started with the Nigerian Declaration of War in Togo. Now in this scenario, the unrealism is a bit less noticeable. The Nigerians did get a new government, but there aren't very many influential alliances or relations here in Africa, at least not that I know of. So yes, there are a few, but just for the sake of it, there are going to be no alliances here, and the Nigerians are going to be getting a new government that, for some reason, the universe favors. Let's put it that way. With that, Nigeria has now invaded all of Togo and annexed the country. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is our first African empire, so let's see how they do. Nigeria is already one of the strongest countries, probably sharing the title with Egypt, Ethiopia, South Africa. The DRC is pretty strong. But yeah, those are the stronger countries, to say the least. And Nigeria is going to do nothing but expand here as they declare war on Togo, which once again is a bit of a smaller nation. Lomé is almost instantly captured, and Togo surrenders. With that, where does Nigeria go next? Well, they go to the other side of their borders and declare war on Cameroon. Cameroon is going to be their most difficult challenge yet, but for Nigeria, it's not going to be too bad. With that, they push into the north of the country and just all across the border. They then begin a massive campaign along the coast, and this goes very well as all of Cameroon's coast is captured and the country begins to fall. A huge encirclement is made as the country is cut into two, and the country surrenders, and Cameroon surrenders to Nigeria, which once again, there's no real African power here to stop them from annexing every country, and the West and the East are so focused on Europe and Asia that I don't think they'd care if Nigeria, who's a pretty strong country in Africa, started to expand. With that though, Nigeria is making themselves a very, very powerful country. In real life, soon they're already going to pass up the USA in population, but here taking all of this land is going to do nothing but speed up that process. The next war is going to be another incredibly easy one. It's just on Equatorial Guinea. Honestly, there's not much map out. Actually, interesting fact. You'd think that Equatorial Guinea's capital would be somewhere along the coast here, right? Actually, it's on this island right here. See, I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. With that, Nigeria is already a very powerful country. But if there's one country they kind of want to take, well, that is Niger. But this is where Nigeria is going to encounter their first kind of problem, with Mali and Mauritania both joining to the aid of Niger. Yeah, it's going to be a bit harder for Nigeria, but they're just going to push into Niger, capitulate the country, and hope that Mauritania and Mali don't care enough to stay. With that, they quickly begin to push into all of Niger's important land, which is down here in the south. Like I say in any video with Africa, desert all around right here. So if Nigeria can just push into southern Niger, they'll be fine. With that, as I said, about all of Niger's important land is captured. They make a spear into the Sahara, cutting them off from Mali, and they begin a push into Mali. With that, it's difficult for them, and they actually decide to declare war in Burkina Faso, which is not a very strong country, so it won't make it too much more difficult for them. But considering how easier it'll be to supply the troops over here in Mali, it'll be worth it. The blue team actually doesn't do what Nigeria hoped and leave, but that's fine, because with this new advance, they're able to push into the more important parts of Mali, leading to, for the only country that actually has important land left to be Mauritania. And once Nigeria starts to threaten said land, Mauritania agrees to a Nigerian peace treaty in which Mauritania won't lose any land at all, but Mali and Niger both will. Niger's completely annexed along with Burkina Faso. Actually, no, that's not true. Well, in the peace treaty, it's supposedly stated that Mauritania will not lose any land, but a strategy Nigeria employed here was, give me the land I want or I'll come and kill you again. And believe it or not, that strategy worked great, and Mauritania agreed to a new peace treaty in which they lost some valuable land, but hey, at least they still exist, okay? You can't say the same about Mali or Niger, which there's still technically a bit of northern Mali left, but that's just handed over to Mauritania, as that will never survive as a country. It's pretty much just all desert, and it would be gone incredibly quickly. With that, Nigeria annexes all of said lands that I stated in the peace treaty. They definitely aren't looked at as a good country, but they're looked at as a strong one, and to the Nigerian leadership, that's the most important thing. With all of this new land, Nigeria is seen as the sole African superpower. As on the world stage, they are not a superpower yet. They are still considered just a power. Their population, I think by now, has already surpassed the USA's and is in third. But yeah, this is one incredibly powerful country. Maybe in Africa, but still, its power levels can rival some even European nations. Which, considering land difference, isn't too surprising, but still impressive. With that, Nigeria just begins to push to a lot of these weaker nations, starting with Ghana. Then they push over into the Ivory Coast, and they're really just going to start declaring war on these countries as they go, until eventually they all fall. With that, it's not very difficult for Nigeria. They are now a power, and none of these countries here, Sierra Leone, Guinea, none of these countries are particularly powerful or going to be particularly a challenge for Nigeria to defeat. They declare war on Guinea-Bissau and Senegal soon after, along with the Gambia. With this, Nigeria just begins to send its troops. Some people say they expanded too quickly, as the blue team's actually able to push back slightly, but overall it's not nearly enough to combat this Nigerian powerhouse. Ghana completely falls, followed by Cote d'Ivoire. Liberia follows soon after, and Sierra Leone doesn't stand a chance. Same thing with Guinea. Senegal attempts to push them back, but honestly, any attempt that any blue team country attempts here is just absolutely crushed by Nigeria. With that, Nigeria finishes this invasion of all of these countries. They annex Senegal, the Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, all of Guinea, all of Sierra Leone, which actually, interesting thing about Sierra Leone, their capital is called Freetown, and they're one of the least free countries in the world. If you're wondering why, it's because slaves, after not being a colony, but I don't know, just something interesting that I found weird. With that, Nigeria annexes all of these countries, and yeah, they're definitely the sole African superpower. Before, they were rivaled by Egypt, they were rivaled by South Africa, the DRC, Ethiopia. Now, no one doubts them as Africa's main power. With that, they have some recognition on the world stage. When it comes to other countries and what they think of them, well, originally many countries didn't care, but at this point, Nigeria is a very large country, and a lot of people are trying to make a friend out of them, as if you have a friend out of Nigeria, then you pretty much have a friend out of a lot of Africa. With that, they're going to just start declaring war on a few weaker countries, aka Gabon and the Congo, just the regular Congo, not the DRC. And after pushing into both of these countries, Nigeria decides not to go for the DRC, as their people, they're fine with the war, I guess you could say, but overall, Nigeria has already expanded into the most powerful country in Africa, and considering that they're able to rival some countries in Europe or Asia, I'd call this entire empire a success. They have a population larger than the US, and land is as large as, I don't know, this is huge, all of Western Europe. So yeah, we have our new Nigerian empire. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.